Hello footies, welcome along to your tri-weekly dose of FIFA Ultimate Team podcasting goodness. We are FUT In Review, powered by FUTcoaching.com. My name is Dan Wimbush, and stay tuned because over the next 45 minutes or so we'll be digging deep into the ongoing Team of the Season promotion, including asking whether it's all come a bit too soon, are we suffering from a bit of burnout, and, the pros and cons that we've seen so far. We'll also be looking ahead to this Friday's team, the La Liga Team of the Season, what we hope to see from that. There is, amazingly, still a little thing called Team of the Week being released, plus we'll dig into all of the other little talking points and nibits from our past week. Well, before I introduce my co-host for the evening, just a big thank you to all our patrons over at patreon.com/FUTInReview. That is those people that go the extra mile to help support this show. They put their hand in their pocket. It's a digital tip jar for us, but not just that. It helps pay for equipment and lots of other goodies. And in particular, I wanted to single out our 4 Skybox holders. They are the people that go the extra mile. That is Amar, Reese, Daniel, and also to Artyom, who is our latest Skybox holder. Thank you very much. As part of their top tier support, they get a free coaching session every month from the guys over at FUTcoaching.com, as well as lots of other goodies. Patreon.com/FUTInReview. Just a final couple of quick plugs as well. Big thank you to guys over at Caveman Gaming, who will give us a bit of a nudge this week with our YouTube channel. Of course, we're trying to get to that 100 sub barrier, which will let us name the channel. Lots of great content already up on there, including John's tried and tested 4-3-3-4 tactics, and there will be a special 4-2-2 set of tactics getting released on the channel as well. Just hope get the thing off the ground and into your hearts and your subs. So give us a sub. It is absolutely free. We were about 10 away from that magic 100 mark. If you could do so, if you've got a second account lying around somewhere, just give it a sub. Feel free to unsubscribe once we're at 100, but just get us there would be great. Anyway, without further ado, my co-host this evening is the man known as TalkingFUT. It is John. John, good evening to you, my friend.
Evening, Dan. Thanks for having me back.
No, thank you for taking part. Of course, most of my regular other rotation of co-hosts are glued to one particular sporting event this evening.
Yes. To be fair, from a neutral's point of view, I'll be rooting for them. It's good for the country, good for the coefficients. So, yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, it is Rangers Eintracht Frankfurt in the Europa League final. We're recording this about 7:15, so we might get off just in time for the start of the game. But yeah, best of luck, of course, Grandpapa Mac and Homer and Adam, lots of other Rangers fans in the Discord. So best of luck to all of you guys tonight, and for all of you Goldson owners, I am among you and hoping.
I have one too.
He has been an absolute monster for me already, and I can just wait for the 92. Although I have done Da Costa as well, so whoever wins, I kind of win in the FIFA sense at least.
Definitely, it's a win-win for you.
Absolutely. So look, Wednesday show, content-wise, not a massive great deal to dig into, John. A couple of intriguing SBCs though that I want to pick your brains out. Just spoke about Da Costa, Bundesliga right back, and if you're looking to build a Bundesliga defence, EA have helped you out here in what I think Nepenthes described yesterday as one of the best SBCs of the year. Mr. Garvidal, the Croatian centre-back, dividing a bit of opinion, John, because whilst on the surface, 91 rated centre-back with over 90 pace is amazing, am I alone in thinking that high work rate might just bring him down a notch?
I think so, but that's just possibly me. I mean, there's I suppose high. There's medium defenders. I just think at this stage we're overloaded with centre backs.
Yeah, John,
one good one out of many.
Other John, that guy that started FUT coaching. Never heard of him, but he was talking about you could play this guy in a 3-back in the centre, maybe move into a CDM. For 185,000 coins. God, I'd love to have a team on 185 chem. Not the priciest option, and I think this kind of just is going to lead into what we're going to talk about in just a minute. But ordinarily, you'd get really excited about a card like this, but they just seem to be ramming these cards down our throat at the moment, and to the point where none of them feel special.
I would agree, unless you're picking up a CR7, or in this case you're picking up a Bellingham. There's from the Bundesliga, if you pick up most cards, they're just really good cards in an ocean of really good cards.
Yeah, and it's hard to know what kind of stands out anymore because, 1 minute there's a 91 rated card being priced at 125k, then there's one that's at 400, then there's one at 650,000 coins, and you just kind of, this card looks very similar in a lot of ways to the Joe Gomez card that we saw just a couple of weeks ago, and that was what, over 600?
Yes. Premier League tax is always one. Clubs as well is the second one. Is it Red Bull Leipzig he's at versus Liverpool? So I think there's always that. It's like when Varane flashback came. Do you know what I mean? There's we call it the Premier League tax, and I think that is there most day there, Dan.
Yeah, I guess that does explain it. I mean, look, again, great option available. I said if, you're doing, of course, we've had the Bundesliga Team of the Season Guarantee Pack released tonight. That's coming in for an 85 rated squad, round about 90k at the moment. So, if you pull one of the other defenders, if you pull, say, a Frimpong or an Ndicka, great little option to help blend your team together. And the other thing, and content-wise, we'll dig into Team of the Season and our feelings on it just shortly. But we have had the Team of the Week. I can't believe that Team of the Week is still going as a thing. But it is out, John. And actually, a couple of cards that you might want to, see pop out of your guaranteed packs or any rewards tomorrow at least.
Yeah, definitely. I take it you're talking about Hernandez at left back.
Yes.
Even De Bruyne, simply for that rating, will be very handy. Even Ben Yedder, possibly 88, 60k, very good with probably objectives coming for Ligue 1. When that team of the season lands. So yeah, very very good options out there.
Yeah, again, it's nice to have a couple of usable cards. Look, we've talked about Team of the Week so many times, and there's only so many times I can make the Team of the Week joke. I just thought it would have, and again, this also leads nicely into Team of the Season. I think the fact that Team of the Week is still going also takes a little, not a massive amount, but it all just adds into the not making Team of the Season feel special. Because, and we were talking about this before the show started, and one of the reasons we wanted to talk about it is that you brought up is it all feels a little bit early for Team of the Season, and the fact that a Team of the Week is still running kind of adds to that feeling.
I think for me, there's a bit of that. I think Team of the Week, let's be honest, even today's SBC, sorry, I was waiting to lie there. I thought it was a Team of the Week. You don't, it's a Team of the Season you need. So Team of the Week is just fodder, potentially SBC tokens. But if you think the game cycle still has 4 months to go, and we're already at Team of the Season, which is about on par for previous releases, Dan. I think for me personally, and it's just my personal opinion, is we now go into the 3/4 of the game. We are slowly grinding and improving our teams, and one decent pool will debatably change a team big time. At the minute, every player you pull could change a team, unless you're at the top end. But for your average player, you're literally, your team can change day after day, week after week. From now to the reptile footies or whatever they want to call whatever the next promotion will be, and we just suddenly go from grinding your teams to suddenly open up the floodgates. Everybody have great players, great teams, and for me, it ruins the last bit of the game because there's no affection with your players. There's no, I really want to get Mbappe or a Neymar or a Messi. For me, the game just changes totally. Don't know if I'm verbalising that correctly, but do you see my point?
Yeah, I do. And this is going to sound an ultimate first world FIFA problem. But I'm lucky enough to be sat on about 1.5 million coins at the moment. And there is a really bizarre market gap going on where there are so many accessible cards up to kind of 750,000 coins. And then there is a little group of about 20-30 cards up to 2 million. And there's, your god tier cards. And the cheapness of these Team of the Seasons has really taken me by surprise. And like you said, I think it's helped bring everybody up. But at the same point, it has taken away an aspect to the grind because you're not suddenly reaching for a 500,000 coin card that's going to make a big difference to your team. You really have to go up and up and up and up to make that next sort of sizable jump. Now, some people will say, well, that's a good thing because it's bringing everybody kind of on par. But if you have been investing lots of time and effort into giving yourself that little leg up, for me, that's where this kind of drags you down a little bit. And maybe that's selfish. I can fully accept that other people say, oh, good. It's glad that we can catch up with, guys that can spend time opening bronze packs or whatever. But for me, I do agree. It doesn't make your team feel quite as special anymore.
Yeah, that's what I feel. I've had slightly personally down to first orders that we were running. But I did spend some FIFA points throughout the year. I said I wouldn't. I did. I lapsed. I probably spent a couple of £100. But generally, I've my Wayne Rooney 88 card played 750, almost 800 games. My Petr Cech played 960 games. My Frankie de Jong Gold played in excess of 650 games. Now everybody will play 20 to 30 games and then they'll be out and into the next player. And it just feels, at this stage, there's no affiliation to the club, to the players. They're just in and out. And I feel, for me, that's quite disappointing.
Yeah, everything feels very transitional, especially because we see, obviously, a new major league every week. There's such a massive, we touched on this on Friday's show. There's such a massive sort of attention placed on the Premier League team this season, such a big hype around that. But we still get drip fed all of these other teams. But the Bundesliga team, for me, it's amazing how quickly nothing has felt special from this team, other than, everyone's lusting after Jude Bellingham. But the way even people like Robert Lewandowski have dropped off a cliff value-wise has been quite surprising. To the point where even if you are grinding packs and stuff, there's very little that's going to pop out to really excite you.
Yeah, I think that's it. If you think of Team of the Year, if you got a pack, any one of them, that was in your team for the next 3 months, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, whatever. But now a player's only in your pack for a couple of weeks, in your team for a couple of weeks. And I think that is the disconnect between the first 3 quarters of the game and the last quarter of the game. And you're right. And so unless you pack a Jude Bellingham, CR7 from the Prem, a Gravenberch from the Eredivisie, how many people will still be in your team in 2 weeks' time?
Yeah, and that's... Nick, Run the Foot Market, was kind of talking about this when I was watching his stream a little bit earlier today. You can tell he's disenchanted with the game because he has started streaming the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. Which is just, a whole nother topic that I don't want to get into. But he was talking about how there's just feels something missing for the team this season. I think what we've kind of been alluding to helps that, because I look at the guaranteed Bundesliga pack that's been out tonight, and ordinarily I'd be like, oh yes, great chance, for me to grab any one of a number of players. But then you look at it and it's like, if I get him, it's going to be a letdown. Oh, if I get him, it's going to be a letdown. Oh, if I get him, it's going to be a letdown. And again, to the point where there's only about 3 people that you'd be interested to see pop out. And from playing this game for however long that they just don't pop out. And if you need the evidence to say that those players don't pop out, watch any of the big streamers who open dozens of these things. I haven't seen a single Jude Bellingham. I haven't seen a Lewandowski. The best I've seen is a couple of Davies. And yes, I know that someone is going to be that lucky devil that gets them. But, we have a Discord community of, well over 50 people. And these big pools, even amongst 50 quite committed FIFA players, they just don't come, do they?
No. I would say, though, my brother-in-law was around last night for FIFA Tuesday. And he did the 75 player, the 75 Bundesliga players. And he packed Diaby, and in the 2-player Bundesliga, he packed Lewandowski.
That's not too bad.
Not too bad. Of course, I got an 85 in the 11 Bundesliga players, and I got an 86 in the 2-player pack. So
yeah, I got Raum from that 84 double up, and but from that 75 times 11, I think the best I got was an 84.
So it's totally random,
Yeah,
but again, Lewandowski is sub now 600k.
but that's just it. And I just think
Where
that,
Bellingham is plus 3 million.
but just make it a bit fairer at this point of the game. Just make it totally random. Just give all of those, what is it, 15 cards an equal pack weight, and maybe that helps create a bit more excitement because you've got a bit more belief that these things are coming. You know,
And in theory, potentially Bellingham would still be in your team
yeah,
in 3 4 weeks. Where realistically, if you pack Muller, he'd be in your team for a couple of weeks and then gone.
yeah, he'll be off to SBC heaven to get you the latest
Who's
icon
great is yeah.
roulette done. And look, I don't want to sound overly negative here because I think there have been, I do like the fact that there is lots of content coming out, lots of different upgrade choices, lots of different SBCs. I think maybe there could be a couple more players here and there. I think the objective players could be a bit more interesting as well. But I think overall, EA have done a really good job of kind of keeping the content train going. But I just think it's almost like when you go to one of those all-you-can-eat restaurants. I don't know if we've got one in Reading, which I won't give the name of. I will actually. It's called Cosmo. It's called
Oh
Cosmo in
yes,
Reading.
it's one in Edinburgh.
Is there? Okay, cool. And for anyone that's not been there, basically they're an all-you-can-eat chain. You pay a flat fee, you go in there, and they do delicacies from all around the world. Now, there are lots of nice tasting food there, but there's almost so much choice that nothing stands out. There's nothing gourmet that you go away really thinking, oh, I can't wait to have that again. And I think this is
Yes.
what Team of the Season has felt like so far for me, whereas there's been so much content and opportunity to get these cards, but like we've been talking about, not enough realistic opportunity to get something that's going to be a massive game breaker for the next 3 or 4 months.
But that's it. So that's what I'm saying. We're now in the churn of really good players, some elite players, but really good players for everybody, which is fine. Um, that we're just going to fall over now, and then footies will then overtake this for the last cycle. Um, but the first 3 quarters is much more of a grind, it feels, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden it's just open the floodgates. Everybody gung ho. Everybody's got great players. Everybody's got great teams. Let's rush through the last quarter, and we're all sitting actually at the end going, "Hurry up with the next FIFA."
Well, I flip flop on this because do you think that we, and I say we as a general FIFA community, are to blame for this? Because we seemingly want, we all sit here. If there's a week without a promo, we're up in arms. If there's a week without a promo team with good usable players in, we're up in arms. And also, EA have done such a good job since I've been certainly a player in FIFA 20 of extending the game cycle right the way through to September. But because they've extended that game cycle and because there is such an appetite for promos, they're having to slow down the power curve so much and also, not allow people to get those end game teams too soon. So do you think in a way it's kind of we're a victim of our own wants and needs? We've wanted so much so quick that actually, again, using the analogy, we've binged too much. We're too full.
Absolutely, but you're right. If we suddenly stopped and said it's 3 weeks between team of the season leagues, people would be up in arms. So we're now at that stage where, and it takes me back to another point I was moaning about privately. Is like everybody wants golden goal. Everyone wants golden goal. Everybody wants to get it done, get the players, and get on with the next. Get it done, get the players. Nobody wants to sit and play the game. Nobody wants to enjoy the game. Nobody wants to enjoy the players that they've got. It's just everything's instant consumption. I want it now. I wanted it 5 minutes ago, and I'm not happy with what I got. I want the next one. I want the next promotion. I want the next player. And it's like we're demanding that of EA. So it's a really hard balancing act. And I'm not EA's biggest fan normally, but in this case, how do you control that? I think the power curve is too far at the start of the game. We have too many big players very, very quickly. And then at the end, it just goes hell for leather. I think the leagues aren't even finished. The Premier League hasn't
Yeah.
finished, and we've had Premier League team of the season. The league I support doesn't even get a league of this a league team of the season, which is the Scottish Premier League. So unless you're Rangers and Celtic, and you may get somebody in the community or something like that, I'll never see any of my club players. So there's not even like, oh, I'd love to have a weekend playing about with my division. It just feels, it just feels like then instantly,
Yeah.
and it's really hard for you to control that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to unpack there. Just on the last point, I've never really understood why EA don't release a mini team of the season for each of the leagues in the game. I don't think there's anything wrong with them releasing 11 promo players from the Scottish Prem, even if you cap their ratings. Excuse me. I don't think there's anything wrong with that whatsoever, and I don't think they're going to break the power curve or anything if there's an 87 rated St Johnstone player out.
Heaven forbid.
Yeah, same way that if there's an Australian A League team, what? It's content. Okay, there's a few extra good players in packs. So what? I guess it probably comes down to things like licensing. Maybe that'll all change with the whole EAFC that we're going to be seeing in 18 months' time. But and going back to the whole point you made about people wanting more and more and more, FIFA Ultimate Team is the ultimate arms race. Because this is all it is, isn't it? We're all desperately searching for that next piece that's going to give us a leg up on other people. I've just talked about it. I want to be able to spend 1.52 million coins and get a player that's going to magically get me another 5 wins in Weekend League or playoffs, or get me into Elite in Rivals quicker. And that's what the whole cycle is about. The whole cycle for a lot of us seems to be, I need the next shiny new thing. I need that player that's going to help me beat somebody else. And without going into too much of a psychological debate and analysis of why we play this game.
But John's talked about that, Dan.
Yeah.
It might get you 1 or 2 extra wins. It's not going to get you 10 extra wins. It's not going to get you 5 extra wins. But there is you're right, it's a psychological thing. If I could just improve, if I could just get a better finisher, if I could just get a better goalie. And that's why even now, was it EA released something recently about a whole list of people that have been banned from tournaments? These are pros or aspiring pros, and they're taking that risk with their career to get better players, to get them those 1 or 2 wins. Because, and that's the feeling they're in psychologically, that their team's not good enough or they're facing too many better teams, and it just creates, like you said, I need to eat everything. I need it now. I need more.
Yeah, and it's the FOMO thing that we've talked about a lot of.
Oh God,
yeah, a lot of the time as well. It's I'm missing out on these players, therefore I'm going to get left behind. Someone's going to end up with a better team than me, and the only reason they're beating me is because they've got that red Lewandowski and I don't.
Yeah, they got that R9, and I struggling away with Gabriel Jesus.
And it's not. And it's someone that's, used the best and the worst players in this game. I can attest to it. I was lucky enough to pack mid R9 around Christmas time. Did he win me a couple of games that maybe I wouldn't have done? Yeah, sure. But did some people absolutely destroy me despite having that guy? Absolutely. And like you say, John has pointed this out many times. It comes down to your ability to control the game. And yeah, a better player is going to help someone squeak by in a closer game. 100%. There's no denying. And that's why the pros use the very best players. But overall, your enjoyment of the game is not going to be materially that much different depending on who you get. And again, to me, it all goes back to the whole, why do you play FIFA? And also the whole kind of issue that I've touched on a lot when I've hosted the show, the feeling of loneliness that this game can bring you, because it's so often a one-on-one winner and loser scenario. Whereas if there was a lot more of a team element, a lot more 2-on-2, 3-on-3, even more, then you're not so reliant on your individual team. You're not so desperately focused on your own team. You're focusing on the people you're playing with and, how you work as a team and all that jazz. But I feel like veering slightly off piste on that. But so let's look at the positive. Let's try and fix this. I mean, what would you like to see EA do either from this point on for Team of the Season, or maybe looking to FIFA 23 and beyond?
I think it's probably 23 and beyond, because I think it's too late. The cat is out the bag now. I definitely think what we need is a slower power curve. If you think, I'm quite new to FIFA myself, Dan, but I believe in previous, you had your team of the weeks, and that was really the only way to improve your players. Yeah, and then you got your team of the season. The odd thing in between, I think the power curve is too fast. I think we need to slow that down, and therefore, weekly content, but not be launching 91 rated players out at December and 92 players out and so on and so forth. I think, and again, icons need to be, for me, and I think we've touched on this before, icons should, in my eyes, be the best cards in the game. We should be aspiring to get icons at this stage of the game, not a Jude Bellingham, not a CR7. You should be aspiring to get a Ronaldo, a Hullet, a Maldini, a Ronaldinho, whoever it is that you really like. That's what I want to see in my team.
Do you think, as a thought, and maybe again when EAFC launches, that the whole player rating thing just needs to go, full stop? Because look, we talked about it when we talked about Garvadol at the top of the show. What is the difference between a 91 Garvadol and and there's a player who's 93 that is 10 times better, and there's a player that's 87 that's 10 times worse, but it doesn't always work like that, because was it Nicolas Sula had that 90 rated card earlier in the season from that showdown?
Yes.
But that's not one of the cards that everyone's still using, yet he is the same rating as a lot of Team of the Seasons. So do you think EA maybe need to look at that to stop people focusing perhaps so much on that power curve?
Possibly. It'd be an interesting aspect. I think obviously stat allocation is part of it. Work rates are part of it. I tell you something I'd like to get rid of for next year is chemistry styles.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Let's if you've got an 80p centre back, it's an 80p centre back. You've got to deal with that. If you want a faster centre back, then you're sacrificing that defensive stats. Let's not all cheat and boost everything. I would like to see that go.
Or just make them even more unique. Because, look, we get a defender. What are you putting on them? 9 times out of 10, it's a shadow, maybe an anchor. Very rarely you'll get a super speedy centre-back you might put a sentinel on. You've got a striker. What are you putting on them? Hawk, engine, hunter. It's just, what is the point?
EDM. Shadow.
Yeah. Or if you had a chemistry style that only boosted, say, one stat by +5 or +10, it might force people into making different changes. I don't know.
And it does make the teams more unique as well. I don't know, we've talked about it, I think, in different pods. Say somebody scores a hat-trick and it's 3-headed goals. So the only boost they're getting is heading, for example. Then you'll decide, do you know what I mean? But then that might even make Team of the Week more redundant than it already is. Something needs to change. The power curve's too high. I think more of a grind in the first quarter and a free-for-all in the last quarter. And I just find, for me, it's disengaging now. I play less at this stage of the game than I ever did. Like I said, I've got lots of guys pushing 1,000 games. I'll be lucky to play 100 games now between now and the end of the cycle.
Yeah, it's, as I said, it is tricky, and there have been pros and cons. As I said, overall, I think Team of the Season has been enjoyable, but I just think that it's suffered from not feeling special for all of the reasons we've talked about.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It doesn't feel special. People are already talking about now they want the Vinny Jr. card.
Yeah.
They want the Messi, Neymar, Mbappe card. And then they want whatever footage he's bringing, which will possibly be a Mendy card. And people are already talking about that's in the future.
But that's just it.
Now.
EA have shown their hand, because look at all of our endgame teams last year. They were all full of Festival of Football, footies cards. Team of the Season was, washed up. Aside from a couple of obvious, your Mbappes and Ronaldos this world. No one was getting Team of the Season players in their team. everyone has, pink Renato Sanchez's and green 99 Acuña's and things
Yeah,
like that. It was so disposable. Whereas at least Team of the Year cards have that 4-month window of being the best
and that's what I
cards
was
in the
meaning.
game.
You get a fantastic icon. It lasts you
Yeah.
months. You get a team of the year. Team of the a year. It lasts you months. Now nothing lasts you long, and that's where I lose the disconnect with the game. It's just a churn now.
But even I think the way that they treat the minor leagues is confusing to me because they know what can make cards usable, but they just don't do it. So why not, what is the problem of having a Harry Wilson, a 5-5 Harry Wilson, for example, or a 5-5 Mitrovic from being the best player in the championship? Okay, their prices might be then through the roof, but why does that matter? Well, at
But
least
it shouldn't. It shouldn't. But there'll be. I suppose there'll be. Is this a snobbery? A football elite snobbery that your five big leagues have the best players. Therefore, they have to be the best players. So your sub leagues, Harry. There's no disrespect to Harry Wilson or anybody like that because he's a fantastic player. That because he's in the championship, he's not in the top. He's not in the elite leagues. Therefore, he cannot be an elite player. There has to be a fault, be that weak foot, be that skill move, be that traits, be that there'll be something that makes him not elite versus an Mbappe, an Neymar. Obviously, sometimes body type ruins it for, let's say, Lewandowski, right? But Mo Salah, etc. These guys are the elite players in the elite leagues. Therefore, I think they have to be seen to be better.
yeah,
Therefore, these sub leagues they're almost handicapped.
yeah, I do understand that. I just think that again, it's a shame, like you were talking about with YSN, SPL, league. I just think that the more usable cards out there, and again, it gives you something extra to hunt for. If Mitrovic or Wilson or especially John Swift, was really, really meta and usable, properly usable for those that want to compete at the top, because any card is usable. But you know what I mean, for those people looking for those advantages, it just makes it more exciting. They're more likely to hunt through packs. I don't know. I just think it's, like I said, I do think it needs a look into for next year.
Absolutely.
But let's look ahead closer because it is the La Liga team of the season this week. Anybody you're particularly hoping to see get a card and wander its way into your club, even if it is for a couple of weeks?
Suppose, like I mentioned him earlier, Vinny Junior. It's always been good off the bat as a basic goal card when everybody's struggling with slow defenders. His pace was great, and then his informs were very good. His special card was good, so I think that'll be one. I think who else? I don't really follow La Liga that much.
You've got
So I'm trying to think.
Karim Benzema. Obviously, he's having one of
Yes,
fantastic
Kareem the
season.
Dream. Yes, I think Kareem the Dream would be a fantastic card. I certainly know that at the start, his flashback card everybody loved, so that would be good to see. But again, depends what they do with his work rates. Depends what they do with his stat allocation. That would be really good. Who are you looking to see, Dan?
I like that. I'm hoping João Felix gets a card. I've always enjoyed using his cards. I think that Player of the Month that got released, was it around January last year? Maybe even earlier. Might have been December, November. Was a club legend of mine last year. And I think this year, other than that numbers up card, which again was behind the power curve when it came out, hasn't really had too many spicy cards this year. So I'd like to see Felix. I mean, again, there's always your potential for your Militaus to come out, who can make a difference in your defence. Vinny Junior you've mentioned as well. Marcus Llorente is always a midfielder you like to see pop up. Valverde
He'd
as
be a
well.
lovely card. Yeah. Are they team of this? Like I said, I suppose Real Madrid won the league, so they're bound to have a bit of visibility in there. But again, are these guys actually the best in the league?
Again, this
Like
whole different.
Valverde, is he the best in the league? Is he nailed on, or is that a bit of public vote and a bit of pack selling? Being
Yeah,
cynical.
I mean, it just depends again whether you want your team of the seasons to have the very best cards for FIFA, or if you think the team of the season should be representative of the best players in the league. I'm just looking at the top players according to the Liga by who scored, and in the top 10 you've got Karim Benzema,
Yeah.
Aspas, Vinny Jr. You've got Raul Thomas from Espanyol.
Frankie de Jong would be a nice shout.
Yeah, Jimani, you got Unal from Getafe, Yosselu, Premier League favourite, um, Jose Morales for Levante. He's had a couple of good cards over the years. Memphis Depay is up there as well. Guedes
Really?
as well. So again, some good names there, but a lot of ones where you say, well, you just know that EA won't do the card justice, even if they get a card.
Do you think Aubameyang would squeeze him?
He certainly deserves it based on the second half of the season, but is half a season good enough? And if you go sort of outside the top 10, you've got Carrasco, Busquets in there, Jordi Alba, Luka Modric. You would feel would get a card. That'll be a nice one to own. Tony Cruz is also in the top 20 as well.
Oh, that's nice.
Ferland Mendy, he's not had a special card.
Again, exactly. So I think he'll end up like in whatever version of Footies or Festival of Football or whatever we go to much, much later.
So again, I think the key is, as we just touched on with Harry Wilson and talking about Mitrovic, is making some of these cards truly usable. If Busquets gets in, give him 88 pace. I
don't think he will, based on the fact they gave him a captain's card. I think that's their way around that.
Maybe, although that promo is already sort of a month ago, and it's not going to stop the likes of Ben Yedder getting in, is it? And I think the good example is the Spurs goalkeeper, Lloris.
Yeah,
true. He got captain's card in Community.
I'll retract that statement then.
It's a good one. It is fair. But yeah, I just want to see, again, juiced up, usable cards, and make this a promo where there are 6 or 7 really good cards that you'd want to change your team, that you'd want to kick out some of those Premier League team of the seasons or Bundesliga team of the seasons.
You'll probably end up with 3 or 4 tops, and you've already mentioned them. Vinny, Benzema, then possibly take your pick around Llorente, Modric, etc. And after that, the rest will be all very nice, like Bundesliga, like the majority of Premier League. They'll be all very nice cards. They'll be in your team, but they'll also be out your team by the time Ultimate comes.
Can I also just lead the charge to stop Fakir getting one? Because that road to the final card, I've still got haunting flashbacks.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I did him, and he was a mainstay of my team for 500 games. And then I got the 91. What was that called? That was the FUT birthday.
Yeah.
And he played about 15 games for me.
Yeah. It's funny. Yeah, like you say, I barely run into that FUT birthday card. But when I have, it's still destroyed me. I think if you're someone that's good with finesse shots, it's one of the best cards in the game. Just a quick shout out to everybody listening live via our Discord. Again, one of the perks of Patreon membership, which again starts from just $1 a week. Patreon.com/FUT In review. Artem, one of the Skybox holders, is listening in, and he has said regarding your discussion on chemistry styles, just for example, let's take 92 rated Ericsson. Let's give him an artist, but actually I did. His passing and dribbling is perfect. Still in game, he makes bad passes and not moving like 99 dribbling. That's why you didn't care about that and just give everything to boost speed. And I think that's a very good point as well. Yeah. John, that we don't talk about is fake stats, and especially around this team of the season time, there are so many fake stats because you can boost a lot of these, team of the season Saudi League players to being high 90s in a lot of areas, but no one's going to work them in their club because the stats don't feel real.
I agree. I think the base rule generally tends to be if their base goal card has high stats, that carries forward. Sometimes when they get that 40 pace boost, it doesn't feel like it. But there's also body type, work rate, and and sometimes just even that distribution of allocation of acceleration and sprint speed can all make a change. But you're absolutely right, and that's why I think we should just take away chemistry cards, because we don't use the right chemistry cards. So, like Pirlo, you want to put realistically, he's got fantastic passing, but everybody just needs to stick a pace card on him because his pace is no use without pace.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
very, very much agree. So that kind of wraps up most of the things. I just wanted to bring up one more question that we had from Nathan Downs, our loyal, one of our fellow hosts of this show. He has said, what is the best / most effective way to grind the menus just now? Is it to continue to recycle them through bronzes, through upgrades, and then rares into the 81 pack? John, have you been...
That's for you.
Well, I was going to say, have you been ploughing your way through the menus? Any tips?
No, I've not got the patience. So I do the SBCs as they come out, and I will grind, say, the player picks, say, the player picks and stuff like that. But I really cannot be bothered putting bronzes into silvers into golds into rares. Give me a spoon, dig out my eyes. it's not what I want to do. Happily submit 11 golds, until I run out of golds. But the effort to get those 2 golds, not for me. So kudos to those that do it. I follow loads of people that do bronze pack method. I know you fiddle up with bronze pack method. It does make you coins. For me, time is precious, and that's not something I want to use on.
Exactly, and that was the way I was kind of going to answer this question for Nathan, is in terms that it's all to do with your time, your patience level, your coin commitment, and what you're hoping to achieve. I think if you're looking at the very most effective way for cost, then it is what you've listed there. Go through the bronze pack method. Turn those bronzes into silver upgrades. Do the league SBCs as best you can with the league bronzes that you get. Turn them into silver upgrades. You've got that 81 plus upgrade now that takes high rated silver rares. You'll get a lot of off league rares that you can do that, and you can turn that into other rares to use in, say, the Bundesliga upgrade or the Bundesliga pick. Or, commons are fairly cheap right now. Go out and just mass buy, bid on those for 400 coins. Go rinse those through the 81 plus or the gold standard gold upgrade, and then turn them into picks or premium Bundesliga upgrades, whatever. So I'd like to say there was one particular effective way, but it is, I think, again, to give credit to it, there are lots of different ways to grind this. I'm going through the bronze method. That's just the way I'm doing it. I've got time, downtime here and there, and it's just easy to open up the app for 10 minutes and open up a few bronze packs, and I know what I'm doing, and I've done it for so more that it's just kind of robotic and easy for me to do.
I think I do sort of open probably 4 or 5 bronze packs a night now. All I'm realistically doing is selling the players for 200 to 800 coins depending on league, nation, etc. Quick selling all the contracts, flags, whatever, and I'm only open them up for that, just purely can I make a couple of 100 coins, but I'm not doing it for the menu grinding and the recycling.
Yeah, I mean, from a bronze pack method point of view, we're due, I imagine we're going to get at least another 4 or 5, maybe all of the league SBCs will be back by Thursday, so that will drive up the price. There'll be much more sellable things in packs. We're also seeing tokens, and some of these daily SBCs are requiring rare cards from nations. So again, if you time it right, you can just kind of open up bronze packs around 6 o'clock if there's a decent promo on, SBC out, and actually, be making profit per pack. But otherwise, you can open them at all times of the day. And once you kind of know the cycle, you'll be able to turn those cards into money whenever you need it. So I just hoard on to Major League bronze rares. Major Nation bronze rares, say, from like the French second division or the English League 1, League 2. And then as soon as there's a daily SBC or a challenge or something that needs, 11 rares, then those cards pop. Because unless it's a high rated team, say like, an 80 rated team, if it's a 75 or even the dream is when it's like 65 or 70, those cards just fly. And you'll make all the money back that you've lost from opening 750 coin packs. But look, again, more than happy to dig into that on an individual basis. Maybe we'll do a show for the actual YouTube channel. I'm planning in the run up to FIFA 23 to sort of get some of the more trading minds on the channel, the likes of Shaq that I've done a couple of shows with. Going to get him on board and some of the other guys as well. We'll do sort of a little series on some of the methods you can use to make coins. So, and again, if you join the Patreon, join the Discord, my DMs are literally open 24 hours a day to answer specific questions on that. So hopefully, I apologise, it's a bit of a cop-out answer, Nath, but hopefully it's ticked some of the boxes at least. And just as well, speaking of the Patreon and wider FUTcoaching.com as well, there was one thing that our illustrious leader John wanted to put out to our patrons and others, is that obviously we ran the Community Cup, which was a great success. You know, people using their FUT teams within certain regulations and going head to head with each other. I didn't make it out of the group, but never mind.
I drew 2 coaches and an elite player, so
there you go.
I never got a point.
But again, we want your feelings and opinions. Have you been a Patreon member, or you maybe want to be in the future, or you're just interested whether we should be running, a game mode outside of Ultimate Team? So whether we should go old school and go back to seasons or kickoff, because there's now things like crossplay in those modes. So if you're interested in that, let us know in the Discord, or just drop us a line on social media at FUT In Review, and your input will be very much appreciated. But speaking of input, John, anything else before we saddle off and go and watch this cup final?
No. Enjoy the football. Enjoy team of the season. Enjoy the new players you've got. Don't listen to my totally negative vibes. It's a great time to enjoy FIFA. I just want it to slow down personally, but enjoy your game time, guys.
Hey, look, there is nothing wrong with wanting to make something we enjoy even better. But I think you've hit the nail on the head. If you're enjoying it, enjoy it. Don't let anybody else's opinion sort of sway how you feel about this game. And if the fun has stopped, also feel free to stop. You can get off the treadmill. Of course, still listen to this show. We don't want. We hopefully we bring you back. I know Chris isn't on, so we haven't got any. Have you got any dad jokes to keep the audience?
That's not my forte, mate. Not like Chris.
I mean, I wish I'd prepared a routine. Although he's actually in Seville, or he was trying to make his way there. Hope he's made it. So again, hopefully he'll be having a nice time by the end of the night. But yeah, I think that just about wraps up things for the evening. John, where can people find you on social media?
On Twitter at TalkingFUT, and in the fantastic Discord at TalkingFUT.
Yeah, and I am at Wimby on Twitter. Again, hit us up at FUT In Review. Remember, if you are searching for a way to get better at this game, don't go out and buy coins. Go and buy yourself a coaching session from the guys over at FUTcoaching.com, as well as individual tailored sessions. We've also had our masterclass series as well, which you can buy on demand as well. Lots of great goodies, lots of great options. FUTcoaching.com for all your information. Just drop the guys an email. John, Aaron and the crew, more than happy to answer any of your questions. It's a very open process, and there are plenty of testimonials out there from people that have been through it. Myself included, I've had a session with John, and it really helped set me up for the rest of this game. And some of the things that he taught me, I still go through my head every time I play a weekend league game. So can highly recommend it, and I'm not being paid to say that. So yeah, FUTcoaching.com for that. Again, please go and check out that YouTube channel. Get us over that line for the subs. We just need another 10 or so to then name our channel, and that will then help things grow bigger and better. Keep an eye out for the 422 tactics dropping in the next few days. John will be back on Friday. Not this John, other John, FUT Coaching John will be back on Friday, presumably with the King of the North, Ingvi, to round up all of the hits and misses from the La Liga team of the season that will get released on Friday. And until then, one thing left to do, John.
Drop it.
We are going to drop it.